Hello, my Mercurial Mercenaries! Welcome to episode 12 of the Mercury Music Prize Award Scheme, where Bill, Ryan and I talk about albums that are nominated for the 2018 Mercury Music Prize. Today's video...
Right.
Exactly, Bill. You just interject and ruin my introduction. It's absolutely fine. There's no reptiles among
apologies.
us.
I have besmirched your good name, sir. I apologize.
No reptiles amongst us, mercenaries. I don't know why.
Clever.
Is this how you Americans behave when someone tries to best you? Don't you talk over me again, young lad.
Today, what happened again?
Today, my Mercurial Mercenaries, you and I, no, actually him and I, are going to discuss an album by a band from England. I actually thought they were from Australia because I thought they were called Wolf Creek or something along those lines. But they're called Wolf Alice. Now, one of my favourite artists of all time was Alice Cooper, and I thought they may have named themselves after him, but no, they didn't, my mercenaries. So, this is an album by Wolf Alice, and it's entitled...
Visions of Life?
I have no idea why he's speaking like that, my mercenaries. No idea.
Sorry, I had something in my throat. Sorry. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, that there. No. Here's the line. Go back.
You and I were meant to be. Bill, I'll tell you something that I did do for this album. I wrote notes.
Oh my goodness.
Well, okay, I wrote one sheet of notes. Bill, I wrote one sheet of notes. You can't spare one sheet?
I'm ready to be absolutely floored by your in-depth analysis of this album.
So, I'll be honest now, no reason to lie.
That's a lie. There's a lot of reasons to lie. So you've already crossed that line.
I'd never heard of Wolf Alice. Oh, no, that's not true. So I've just told a lie. Hang on.
My God, Johnny Deceit over here.
Oh, Johnny Deceit. I had heard of Wolf Alice, but as far as I'm aware, I've never heard anything by them. I'd seen photographs, I think, so I knew they were like a kind of rock band with a girl singer. This was my first chance to listen to them. I know they're popular. I know their first album won awards and things. This was my first chance to listen to them. I put it on, didn't know what to expect. And straight away, I thought it sounded like 80s Cure. And my first reaction was, if I want to listen to The Cure, I'll just put on Disintegration. I don't need someone aping them. And then I've written here, reverb underlined. You can't see it because the light's too bright. The light's too bright, man. The light is too bright. The light. Reverb. Holy shit, reverb.
Yeah.
And this, to me, sounded like a shoegazing album. And again, if I want to listen to shoegazers, I'll just put on Ride or Adorable. Do I need a band that sounds like The Cure, Ride and Adorable? I could just go and listen to The Cure, Ride and Adorable. And then I thought, as I listened to it a little bit more, I thought, that's fine, Mercurial number 6, but you're talking about bands from your youth. And what's happening here is, this is a band that is recreating the bands from our youth, but they're a band for today's youth to have the sort of music that I listened to in my youth. And they don't have to listen to a bunch of old men doing it. They can listen to a bunch of vibrant people doing it. And I've written, today's youth can experience my youth. All music is cyclical. And I drew a circle with an arrow doing that. And it's signifying that.
I wouldn't have gotten it without the diagram.
Brilliant. I'm just brilliant. And I'll leave it there for a moment.
Okay.
Because that was my first thoughts about this album. I did then listen to it in the car a lot. And my thoughts may have changed a little bit. Let me ask you, Mr. Bill Ryan,
yes.
What did you think about Wolf Alice's Visions of a Life?
I had a similar feeling. I thought more 90s. I thought this sounds like an album that I would hear in
Yeah,
the
early
90s.
90s, late 80s, early
Do
90s.
you remember the band The Sundays?
Hmm, hmm.
Her vocals,
Oh
I kind of
God,
thought of The
she
Sundays.
was an
They did that
amazing
cover of
singer.
Wild Horses from the Rolling Stones. Some of that it was a very sweet album, kind of like, with some exceptions like Yuck Fu. But there's a lot of very sweet, ethereal vocals, which usually is right up my alley. With the reverb, I hear you. It's interesting. When I listened to Heavenward in the car before I read anything up above them, I thought the vocals were and I love reverb, but I said there's way too much reverb on the vocals. Then later, when I listened to them with headphones, I thought it sounded all right. I felt like they could have opened up for Elastica and Mazzy Star back in like 1994 for Lollapalooza or something. The whole album had that feel to it. And what surprised me is, as I kept listening to it, how much I grew to like the album. And I think there's the one single on the album, which is, I'm almost embarrassed to say, it's called Don't Delete the Kisses. It might just be the best pop song that we've listened to for all of the 12 albums. It's an amazing song. It feels like something that would come on during Stranger Things, or at the end of Donnie Darko. Or, something else I thought of is, if anyone's watched the return of Twin Peaks, which I enjoyed a lot, it felt like they could be one of the acts playing at the end of a Twin Peaks The Return episode.
I've never watched any Twin Peaks. Nothing ever. I missed the whole Laura Parker
Palmer.
thing.
Yeah, the Lodge.
Parker Jacket. Laura Parker Jacket. No, Jessica Palmer's Simpson Tompkins. Jessica Palmer's Simpson Tompkins of Laura Parker fame.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. You don't even have to watch it. You just pretty much got the plot down. Wait, don't you have to read from that for this? Is that your notes for this album? So maybe eat it after.
Oh, actually, I've got more notes. Don't Delete the Kisses is the best song we've listened to out of all the 12 albums.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Isn't that weird to say? Now, let me interject here, and I agree completely with you. There are other songs I enjoyed for different reasons, but before we get into that, we've said for other albums that we've reviewed that as much as I like this album was certainly not made for me.
Oh, God, it's not made for us.
She is in her early 20s, and she's singing about love. Don't Delete the Kisses refers to she likes this guy, and she, deleted the kissy face at the end of a text message, because what's he going to think? I don't know. That's what this is about, and I almost feel like there's no song called Does He Like Me or Does He Like Me Like Me? There might as well have been. It's a fantastic album, but let me go on a brief aside. When I was 12 years old, we'd always go to the skating rink, and there'd always be one guy, and he's skating backwards, and he does all the tricks, and he'd go behind a girl, and he'd pull a coin out of her ear, and everybody would be like, oh, that guy's really slick. I'd always be the guy that would have to stop himself up against the wall, I'd flip over, and I was, but then there was always a 32-year-old guy, and he was bumming cigarettes off the 12-year-olds, and everybody would be like, ooh, what's that 30-year-old guy doing here? I feel like that 30-year-old guy when I listen to this album. It's just I can see why this is really good, but this is not for me.
This album wasn't written for us. I know what you mean. We've got someone around here called Birdman. It's a bloke. I don't know how old he is now. He's probably 150, but he's out clubbing every night. He was out clubbing in my youth. People look across, there's Birdman. And I remember going to a club. I remember it quite vividly, going to a club a while back with just a bunch of us old guys, and we sort of stood there. And at one point I went, are we the oldest people in here by 30 years?
Yeah.
And you get the feeling that, just say Wolf Alice played in this town tonight, and because I like this album, I went to watch them. I think people would spit. They wouldn't spit at me, but I think people would just be pointing and phoning.
I think people, when the parents were dropping off their kids for the show, they'd kind of put their arm around them when they saw you walking by.
They'd see me walking up, and I would go, hello, young ladies, I'm here to see Wolf Alice.
And what's interesting about that song, too, is she sings the first verse, they go into the chorus, and then she does a very British thing where she sort of just, talks for the rest of it. God, I was going to put the kisses... And it worked. And I remember Bats for Lashes did it in What's a Girl to Do, where Bats for Lashes was more of an unfeeling, unattainable character in hers. but it gets me every time. But on paper, all of these things could have been ridiculously cringeworthy, and yet, because it's so earnest and it works beautifully, and as you said, it's the best pop song we've heard. So if you haven't heard any, listen to Don't Delete the Kisses. I'm embarrassed to say the name of the song, but it's a fantastic song. It really is. There's a song called Yuck Fu, which is a straight up punk rock song. And a friend of mine named Kent, who I believe watches these videos, so hi Kent. Say hi to Kent.
Hi Kent.
I remember, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kent, I think he played me this when this album came out months and months ago. He goes, all right, listen to this, and he had it on Spotify. And he played this song, and it's this brutal, quick, awesome punk rock song. And then he plays me like the next song, which is this sweet Sundays-esque indie rock song. And he goes, they never do that again. They do this, and then they just never do it again. And he was almost incensed by it. Like, ooh, it's almost like a big tease.
It's not representative of the album at all, and it was the first single, which is an interesting choice. Because they're quite an ethereal band, and they are very much. So to pick up on one of your points, I suppose, is where I was being critical because they sound like Ride and Adorable and The Cure. What you said is probably true. The youth of today don't need to listen to the Sundays, and it's, here's where the story ends, and it's that little souvenir. They don't need to listen to the Sundays because they've got Wolf Alice.
Yeah.
So it is cyclical.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the I was talking about then, really, but feel free to kick in again.
I feel like I liked Sky Musing's Formidable Cool. She does the spoken word thing again, and she does it more in a Bats for Lashes sort of cold way. Like, and then I also liked Beautifully Unconventional. I think I like when they get more. And then Purple and Green, I think, was about a grandmother, and that was a pretty moving song. I think I'm in a difficult place reviewing this because I think it's a fantastic album, but because so much of it doesn't relate to me, like the sort of sweet songs of Does the Boy Like Me or Not, it's weird because I can remember being younger and being charmed by Bjork on debut when she's singing about Venus as a boy and things, and it was just charming. But I think she had this other side to her where she's singing songs about throwing batteries and car parts off of a mountain, where Wolf Alice sort of lacks that really far out thing that I can latch on to listening, where I almost go, hurry up and mature musically or lyrically so I can maybe identify with this more. But then I think, well, that's not for me to say. I'm not who this is made for. And I think if you are a teenage girl or even a teenage boy listening to this, I could see you becoming obsessed with this album.
I actually made a note to myself to remember to say this because look, let's see it. Just so you can see I've done research. You can see that. Can you read that?
Wait, hold on. Hold still. Closer to the camera. There's a bit that sounds like lower because my view there. Go lower. There we go. There's a bit that sounds like our life. Oh, life will be the death of me. That's
just
funny.
Like it. Just like it. There's a bit where I spent ages and they played this part of the song, and I immediately thought, God, I've heard that somewhere before, and I was racking my brains trying to think which song.
Weird. Oh, that's us.
It was bloody our song. We wrote this years before this. They stole our song. Guarantee it.
I'll have to
stole
listen
our
to that
song.
again.
They've listened to Escapism, and they've stolen Life Will Be the Death of Me for Sky Musings.
And she was actually singing about me. She didn't want to delete the kisses when she was asking me if she could use our song.
Yes, naughty band, rather naughty behaviour. Not particularly happy about that, but whatever. I mean, next, Mr. Noel Gallagher will be stealing from us. Don't.
I think they had an album before this. I'll be curious to see where they go. I loved Bats for Lashes' first album, which was more experimental than this, but it had the one hit song in What's a Girl to Do. And then she arguably went a little more mainstream, and I don't mean that as an accusatory thing, a lot more ballady to my ears, and I kind of lost a little interest, although her stuff is still good. These guys could go in a couple different directions, and I'll be curious to see if they either double down on trying to, because Don't Delete the Kisses can be the death nail song of how do we ever top this, because this is such a good song. that it could almost crush them under the weight of it, or they could really dive forward and do something. And I don't know, will we look back and go, man, this is a really great album, whatever happened to them? Or will we see this as the launching point of someone that could have some staying power? I think they have the talent to do it. Musically, I think they'd have to get a bit more adventurous. Because I like, every time they took some chances and got a little experimental, I thought it was interesting.
They're a wildly popular band. It's really strange. Like,
are they? I don't know. So maybe
yeah.
I'm just full of crap.
No,
they're already there. You know,
I've never listened to them or anything, so I'm not talking about my personal sort of life here, but just reading up on them. Their first album, I think, got a Grammy or something, and like,
oh really?
This album's got rave reviews around the world. It's got accolades, and it's gone straight to #1. And I didn't realize that this band's like they're a massive, massive band, and
it's strange because if I gave you this in '96 or '94 and just played it for you, you'd go, "Oh yeah, this sounds like another band coming out." You know,
having watched the videos and sort of seeing the band, and hearing some of these songs live, and deciding that I actually really like them. I really like the band. I then put the album on again, hoping to get past that feeling of just this reverb-drenched late 80s, early 90s album. And I still couldn't really get past it. It's still just not, I'm not quite feeling it. I got the vibe that I should like this album more than I do. And I didn't like the production very much. And yet when I watch them on YouTube, I can see that I do like them. And I think I could really like them, but I just don't think that this album is as good as... Do you know what? Maybe it's just that I need to listen to it more.
So you're gonna delete the kisses?
Oh, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because when I was deciding where to put this in the sort of final list, there was a moment there where I was listening to that one song again and again, where I thought, really, this could just go. I could stick this at #1 and be done with it.
Yeah.
What the hell? Just put it at #1.
I see that. I mean, my struggle with where I put it in my list was, I think that's a fantastic song, but the idea that this isn't directed to me. So part of me wants to lean to other albums that maybe identify with more, but that's not the point of these. The point is to pick the best album.
I've got Sons of Kemet
would I call this
#1.
experimental, or would I say what they're doing is hugely different? Probably not. I think that they put a lot of reverb in things, and then that's kind of and then the fact that they threw a punk rock song on there.
That's weird.
And there's a couple other, like, I think, like, Formidable, cool, and they try some different things. I think they want to lean in that direction. And for me, at least in future albums, I want to see them dive into those waters and see, and you know, it's not fair for me to point out what she should be singing about, but I'd like to see what her, you know, that expand a little bit. And it's not my place to say. You can sing about whatever you want. And there's a lot of fantastic love songs out there. But my biggest thing was separating that I think it's a great album versus what maybe I'd be interested in more. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think we've kind of gone around the houses a bit, saying the same kind of things, and
that's what editing's for, right?
Yeah. No. I mean, in a good way. In a good way. It's like kind of just trying to clarify what we're thinking, and I never really did escape that feeling that, to be honest, just putting Disintegration by The Cure on, that, which is for me a 12 o'clock 10 out of 10. Yes, that's a bloke talking about stuff. I can see the appeal here. I mean, we're talking about yet another. I mean, this list. You know, you've got Nadine Shah, you've got Lily Allen, you've got Georgia Smith. You've got a fair. You know, you've got women represented here, and this is Florence and the Machine, and this is a rock band with a girl singer, and she's not your typical. Do you remember in the '90s when you had like female singers like L7 and Garbage and stuff, and Courtney Love?
See, it's interesting though, because one of my favorite bands is Warpaint, and they're all girls, and they sing in the ethereal style. and they do a great job of. And when I listen to them, I don't feel like, ooh, I shouldn't be here. I feel like they're singing about love and everything, but they do it in such a way where it just feels like a good song. Where I don't feel so I'm peeking in the diary of a 16-year-old. And I think she's 23. I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. There's nothing wrong with her lyrics or her view. It's just for, an older guy, you're just not in that place right now.
I kind of want to like it because even though I keep comparing it to The Cure and saying The Cure's better, it's still interesting to have like The Cure fronted by a girl and like a dainty what I'm trying to say there. There is something quite novel about this band. You look at the bassist. The bassist could be in the bloody Chili Peppers or something. He's an odd sort of character, and they're an odd collection of people. And I didn't expect. I don't know what I expected from Wolf Alice, but I didn't really expect this. I expected it to be heavier.
I'm glad that I liked it because as the last album we're reviewing, I would hate if it was something I thought was bad. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good album.
I think so. Now we're into our final placement. Then this is the rounding up of the whole bloody thing. Now this is the whole Mercury Prize.
Oh no!
I know it feels like the end of an era, but it's trying to work out where to. Well, we can change anything we want around now for the final. We've got it along the top and the bottom of the screen, but I haven't really placed this album yet. I could really place it. I could put it at number 1. Because it's a band and they're young, but they've already achieved so much. The Mercury Prize is the sort of prize that would go to King Cruel or Novelist. Go on then, Bill. Where are you going to put them?
Well, I guess this is my final list, right?
Yeah. Do you want to change anything around? You can move any of the icons around.
No. Yeah, no, I feel like King Cruel is my number 1. With Everything, my number 2. Sons of Kemet are going to keep it 3.
Yep.
And then I'm going to slot Wolf Alice in at number 4. And then you've got Lily Allen, Arctic Monkeys, Novelist Guy, Georgia Smith, Everything is Recorded, Noel Gallagher, Nadine Shah. And Florence and the Machine. I put it at 4, and I think that top 4, I think if Wolf Alice, Sons of Kemet, Everything, or King Cruel won, I'd go, yeah, okay, I can see it. Because I think that, as we said, I think Don't Delete the Kisses, I feel weird every time I say it, I think is the best song as far as pop songs go. I think Sons of Kemet is the best musicality or musicianship of all the albums. I think Everything is the tightest album all the way throughout. Every song is catchy. Every song is well thought out, well made. And I think King Cruel stands as its complete own thing and that I'm addicted to. I keep going back to. I think he's got his own style. I think the lyrics are very well done. And I think that can stand out as the best thing maybe England's put out this year. And I think even the people that don't like it go, oh, well, there's moments, though, of brilliance they can see, that he really has something there. And I think, so I feel pretty comfortable with any 4 of those if they won. Now, the reason I put it below Sons of Kemet is I just think Sons of Kemet are just so phenomenal musically in that. I think where they don't have one song as strong as Don't Delete the Kisses or as memorable, but the whole thing is just so well done that I felt like their talent, they're a more talented band. They might have better hooks in Wolf Alice, but Sons of Kemet just are heads and tails more talented as musicians to me.
Yeah, I think Sons of Kemet are the cream of the kind of, like I say, imagine if we were in a club tonight and Sons of Kemet were on the stage.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic. Having said that, do you know what? If Wolf Alice were playing tonight as well, that would be probably be interesting to see that as well. I think there's like an element of nostalgia here because this is like supposed to be like the Mercury Prize cutting edge, and yet all my references to Wolf Alice are bands from my youth. So I would feel really at home watching them, and I know what you mean because
I think it's intentional. I think one of the songs. Sorry to interrupt you. I think one of the songs, and I thought I wrote it in my notes, and it doesn't look like I did. Oh, Beautifully Unconventional. She based the lyrics on the movie Heathers. Do you remember the movie with Winona Ryder and Christian
Christian
Slater? So I
Slater.
think that was, and I think that was very intentional on their part. That nostalgia you're feeling
That was out
now.
before she was born. I think.
Yes, but there's a lot of. I mean, you like the Beatles? They were out before you were born. Um, I think
I'm not
we
saying
all
she
have.
couldn't like it.
Well, I'm not trying to slap you down with it. I'm just saying, no, she's trying to create that nostalgia in other people who were around or just liked that style and wanted to. I think the mimicry of it was an intentional move. And as we talked with Noel Gallagher, we kind of, I gave him a hard time for some of the things he sort of borrowed, but I never felt like he sort of found his own place, where I feel like some of these songs, they've made their own. Where, yes, you can hear the influences, but they very much sort of incorporated it into their own personalities.
Oh, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Because I haven't yet placed Wolf Alice anywhere up here. It looks like we're both pretty certain that Florence and the Machine this year's Jamie
Anoni?
Woon. No, well, no, I think Anoni would do all right in this list. I think she'd be quite high. This is a tricky one because there's who's our favourite and there's who we think will win. And in the year that we did it before, we both decided on Bowie, and I said Skepta would win. You said Comet is Coming would win.
Yep.
And here we are again, and I currently have the Sons of Kemet at number 1. Do I think they'll win though?
I don't think they would. I mean, if I had to pick one, I would actually go the same. I would think King Cruel.
King Cruel will probably win this. Do you know what though? Who bloody knows? Where do I put Wolf Alice? Which one? Florence and the Machine, Georgia Smith, no, novelist. No, I don't know. Lily Allen. I love Lily Allen. She should be higher than that. Why have I got Lily Allen so low? I've forgotten. Oh, blimey.
Because she had a grime song on her album.
Oh, it's just that bloody going on about bloody drugs and money, wasn't it? I've had enough.
Which is weird because when I talk to you off camera, that's all you talk about.
All I talk about, I've got a whole lime chopped into that. A whole lime. I don't know what to do, Bill. I don't know where to put it. You and Me Were Meant to Be. That's the best song. Everything is recorded. Off Everything Was Recorded was great. Lily Allen had a couple of great songs on that one. There's some. I'll tell you what, that compilation album we were talking about in the last video, or whatever it was, that would be quite good this year.
Pretty good.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Do I put Wolf Alice? Oh, do I ever want to hear that album again? Let me think. Oh, God, I don't know what to do now. Tell me what to do, Bill.
You got to make a decision, and you got to stick with it. Unless we want to make a final video after they announce the awards.
We will make. We definitely will make a final video.
And then maybe you could move around if you so choose. I think I'm always a go with your instinct guy because more times than not, an album that you like is going to grab you sort of right away. There are growers, but even those, I find there's at least one song that hooks you in and that keeps you coming back, and that's how you. So I say, whatever your instinct is, that is what you should follow, my young Padawan.
I think this album could go at the top, or it could be a complete middling thing and just sit there with the Arctic Monkeys. It's just whether I feel brave enough to just say, do you know what? It's a girl singing in a rock band with a bit of style and a song. If
that's what you feel, go for it. I mean, we agreed on Noreen Shah. So don't be afraid to stand up for what you feel, man. I say King Cruel because that's what I keep going back to. But she thinks I'm bipolar. She thinks I'm
Sounds
bipolar.
bipolar. If you think I'm bipolar, you think I'm bipolar. See, if he was playing a gig tonight, it'd be bloody good. It would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have to play it in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean so we could both travel to watch it, and he'd have to play on a
But
ship
just
or something.
don't forget your Motorola.
Don't forget your
Like I'm Frank
Motorola.
Pizzola.
I got to roll a roller on a roller. I got to coaster. I got to coaster.
He's mashed.
I
I'm
got to
mashed.
coaster
He's
on my shoulder.
mashed. We're mashed.
Coaster on my shoulder. Coaster on my shoulder.
Got a coaster on my shoulder.
Here, have you got a coaster on your shoulder?
You got a coaster on your shoulder?
I'll put Wolf Alice at number 1. There you go.
What the shit?
I don't know.
You're just throwing
We'll be here all
bombs
night,
out
else.
there.
We'll be all night. I think they're too popular to win. It'd be like giving it to Adele on the year that Adele was in it. You know, I mean, it's like they'll never give it to Coldplay. They'll never give it to Radiohead or whatever. But
You like dropping bombs with your list. I used to play blackjack with a guy, and we'd put a certain amount of money down, and then every once in a while we'd get a hand, and he'd look at me and he'd go, "I'm dropping a bomb on this one," and he'd throw like $100 on the hand. Dropping a bomb. You like dropping bombs on your list?
I've dropped a bomb. So my final list is Wolf Alice, Sons of Kemet. I mean, who'd have thought I'd put the Jazz album at number 2? You're probably right. I think overall the album really that should probably be at the top is King Cruel. I really liked it. I just found that it was just a bit too much. A bit too long. Needed a bit of editing.
It did need a bit of editing.
Just if you honestly said to me now, which one do you want to put in your car? I'd probably go for the Wolf Alice over the King Cruel.
See, I just ran to the bank before we made these videos, and I was listening to King Cruel.
I think it's.
I was like, I'd like to make a deposit in the bank. He'd like to make a deposit into the bank because I got a point. Sorry.
I think he's really good. Old Archie Marshall, isn't it? I think he's really good.
Especially for an 8-year-old.
I mean, you know, this 5-year-old can play keyboard. He can play guitar. He can't sing, but he's.
I mean, imagine a 4-year-old doing all this.
I mean, it's amazing what fetuses can do these days.
I mean, you're an embryo and you're on tour.
It's unbelievable. You're just a thought in someone's mind, and you're
an erection waiting to happen, and you're making the top Mercury Prize album. It's phenomenal, really.
It's phenomenal. But there you go. I think, Bill. I think we've come to the end.
What?
We've come to the end. I think we're feeling. And I'll just say now, if I've seemed a little bit burnt out.
You've been waiting for this one.
So there you go, Bill. What do you think about the state of British music then?
I think it's pretty damn good. I think there's enough to give hope, right? I think there are. I think King Cruel, everything, Sons of Kemet, a little bit of Wolf Alice. I think I will revisit Lonely Nights and Long Dragged Out Days. It's funny how when you get older, when you're younger, you lust after women, or maybe men, nothing wrong with that. But as you get older, you lust after food. So now when she's singing, "You and me were meant to be," I'm thinking about a cheeseburger. That's in my head. It's me and a cheeseburger, and my heart is just.
You and me were meant to be fish and chips, just like that, with a wooden fork in it and a bit of mushy peas and an egg.
I used to have a buddy, and we would walk at work, get your exercise and everything. And when you're younger, you talk about, man, did you see that girl? We literally be like, oh, I got this steak, and we're just describing. Oh man, tell me more. There's a guy behind us playing a saxophone as we're talking about like cheeseburgers.
I can't have Lily Allen that low. Hang on. Let me just do a last-minute change.
The love of your life.
Lily Allen has to go up. She can go up above everything is recorded. Lily Allen can go up there. Let's just move up the Arctic Monkeys up. Can't have them down there. Let's put Arctic Monkeys up.
What? You're just throwing bombs.
No, I'm not doing anything. Arctic Monkeys can go up below Lily Allen. Arctic Monkeys. They can go up there.
Don't forget to put Nadine Shah at the bottom.
Nadine Shah. Oh, no, I forgot about it. I quite like. I'll tell you what. Holiday Destination of Nadine Shah's album. That's the second best. That's the third best song. First best song. Wolf Alice. Second best song. Everything Is Recorded. Third best song. Nadine Shah. Nadine Shah can go up above Arctic Monkeys. Nadine Shah. There you go. Robert, what's Noel Gallagher doing? We can't have Noel Gallagher down there. That's ridiculous.
Yes,
He's one of the greatest musicians that England's ever seen in the last few minutes.
Was this album one of the greatest albums that you've seen in the last few minutes? No. Then it should be at the bottom.
Yeah. Hang on. What would I rather listen to?
Done for me lately?
Florence and the Machine or Georgia Smith? God. Imagine that choice, Bill. If I had Florence and the Machine and Georgia Smith in my hands right now, what the hell am I going to do with them? Do you know what? I'll frisbee them both.
They're tinier than I thought they were if they're fitting in your hand. See, I think that's a no doubter. That's a Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith, I think, is going to be super famous in a couple years. That's my prediction.
Oh, look, but Beyonce's famous now.
It's not my cup of tea.
Oh, no. I don't want to listen to any Beyonce.
But it'll be boiling in a few years.
Oh, dear. This is too obvious. Having Florence and the Machine at the bottom of the list, that's too obvious. Because anyone who knows me, if they had that list of albums, they'd say that I'd put Florence and the Machine at the bottom.
Is there a reason for that?
Because I hate Florence and the Machine.
Well, there you go.
No, but the album's all right. I told you I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but that's not exactly a ringing endorsement for an award.
Actually,
would you marry me? If someone goes, "Will you marry me?" You go, "Well, I don't hate you."
You've chosen King Cruel to win. Who do you think will win?
I've been thinking about this. I think King Cruel will win. He's just eclectic enough. The album's just different enough that I could see them. But just to spite me, they'll probably give it to Nadine Shah.
It's possible. It's possible. She's the sort of person who could win it as well. Do you know why? Only one person's ever won it twice, which is PJ Harvey, right? So they like that sort of stuff. And Nadine Shah is very PJ Harvey.
I like PJ Harvey. I don't mind PJ Harvey.
I mean, the era that I listen to is sort of like 50-Foot Genie or whatever. But anyway. So I've picked Wolf Alice to win. And I think, who would I think will win? I think they might think Wolf Alice are too shoegazy. King Cruel is just trip hop. Sons of Kemet are just jazz. Lily Allen can't win because they will never give it to her. They won't give it to the Arctic Monkeys because they've won it before, and they'll just go, "No, I'm not giving it to you." Everything Is Recorded. They won't give it to that because he's a millionaire. Everything. Even the fans don't think it's their best album. Noel Gallagher can't win it.
Yeah, if Everything wins, they'll go, the award was much better last year.
Yeah. Novelist can't win it because he's just grime, and they've already given it to Skepta. Georgia Smith.
And plus, they prefer online stuff now, not novels.
True. Vlog. He should have called himself.
Yeah, if he called himself Vlogger, then he'd win.
Hi, my name's Vlogger.
Hi, my name's Bob. I'm a professional blogger. They call me a vlogger though because I do video blogs.
Do you know what? They might give it to Georgia Smith, a complete and utter blindside. They might go, "Let's give it to the young girl."
Georgia Smith is just too down the middle of the road for me.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I don't know who will win it. I will say there's a good chance they'll just say, "Do you know what? King Cruel, have it. You're young, you're talented. He'll come on stage."
You're the one that actually picked the winner a couple years ago, so what do I know? I only picked the greatest album that was made, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not what the Mercury Prize is all about. The thing is, right? If you give it to King Cruel, can you imagine his acceptance speech? He's just gonna go, right?
He'd say, "I think I'm bipolar. I think I'm bipolar.
Bipolar.
I took the Motorola."
And
then
he'll go on stage and
he'd go, "I can't believe it." He'd go, "I'm mashed. They're mashed. We're mashed. Everybody's mashed.
Everyone's mashed. Get smashed. Mash. Taste. Smash."
I was inspired by the Monster Mash, but I took the monster out and just left the mash.
I like mashed potato. God. Breakdown.
That's that. You heard it here first. New THI album. I like mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah, okay. I think Wolf Alice and King Cruel will win it. Thank you very much, my mercenaries. I think we are, Bill and I are a little burnt out right now. So worked right that time. Worked right. We are a little burnt out by this. However, I know some of you have been along for the ride. You've been around basically for 12 hours with us. It's dwindling. I admit, I do admit that the numbers have dwindled. Some of you have seen us in action and you just thought, no, we don't want any more of that.
I think it depends on who we're reviewing. I think we'll see a spike with Noel Gallagher. Well,
I think Noel Gallagher might get a few more views, and I think there's a chance that a few people watched the very beginning of this video. But as soon as they saw that we weren't going to talk about Wolf Alice, and we were going to talk about a load of bollocks, they turned it off. So we've got no people watching. Bill, we can say anything we want now. No one's watching right now because we were in.
My name is Henry Plainview, and this is my son, HW. I'm an oil man, but I also do video reviews from time to time. Me and my friend Six here like reviewing albums. You could buy one parcel of our land. We will give you another parcel for HW. I drink your milkshake. That was a great joke. 5 years ago.
Bill, for the moment, it's goodbye.
What?
You have to go.
We shan't ever do a review again.
You have to go. I feel I'm dragging this out a little bit because I realise that this is the end. My beautiful friend. The end. The end.
Unfortunately, you have to go back to the Discover series that everyone wishes that you would do instead of these videos with me. And
true.
I never want to become the Jack of this red letter media.
I told you before, didn't I? But I've actually changed my mind now. I actually quite like Jack.
Really?
Yeah, I quite like Jack. He's grown on me.
I thought
he was unfunny, but I now realise that I'd quite like him. So basically, you can put anything in front of me and make me watch it again and again, or listen to it again and again, and eventually I like it. One day, if you put, Clockwork Orange, when they force him to, they put like that.
Yeah, the eyes are
the images, right? If you do that, like if you do, if you do that, like that, right? Put two pieces of like string like that, and pull my ears out, and just play Florence and the Machine at me for, I don't know, for say 52 weeks, like that. I think there's a chance that I'll end up liking it. That's my problem. I can be persuaded by exposure, not sexually. Okay.
Yeah, just don't put that theory to the test with your dating life, trying to get women over to you through exposure.
Like
I don't know if
this.
that's a good way.
Well, that's the thumbnail.
If you make that the thumbnail, I'll never do another video again.
This is the thumbnail, mate.
Can you tell we've been doing this for 5 hours? I don't know why. They always seem a little tired at the end, even though they've done a 13-hour session.
It's all right. It's only almost midnight. Right. Thank you, my Mercurial mercenaries.
Thank you. Everyone's been very kind.
I don't know why I'm saying goodbye.
The last four videos will curse me out, but
say goodbye, Bill. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bill.
Do it properly. You might never be seen again.
Oh, okay. Seriously, thank you. I've had fun. You guys have all been nice. I always very much appreciate it. May peace envelop your lives. May hope envelop your bowels. I don't know why that's what came to my mind.
May hope envelop your bowels. Oh my
Oh
god.
no, red like a tomato. May help develop your bowels from this day forth, henceforth, and forthwith. Godspeed, good men and women. Over. And out.
I don't know
That
why.
was clever.
Is that what you do, is it? When someone's trying to beast you? And
You know, I tried.
You mock
I didn't
them.
try bestiality, but I tried that sadomasochism. The tough thing is you got to start being the masochist. You can't start with being the sadist. And then I got a lot of trouble because you got to have a safe word. My safe word was boring. That's a Norm joke. I can't take credit.
That's brilliant.
It's a Norm joke. Sorry.
Is that how you behave when someone... Wait. Is this how you behave when someone tries to beast you? No.
To beast me?
Is this how you Americans behave when someone tries to best you? Don't you talk over me again, young lad.
More
Today,
apologies, sir. Won't happen again.